Does this say that it's live?
Mhm.
That's not.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Chief Warrant Officer Melissa Lee, Public Information Officer of the Titan Marine Board of Investigation. Today, we're here to answer your questions before the formal hearing. In a few moments, Mr. Jason Neubauer, Titan Marine Board of Investigation Chair, will make an opening statement, and then he and Lieutenant Commander Tom Whalen, the board's lead investigator, will take questions for 20 minutes. To ensure everyone has the opportunity to ask questions, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. And please do not talk over one another. We are committed to transparency throughout this process, and today's conference is part of an ongoing effort to keep the public and the media informed. I ask that all questions remain focused on the procedural aspects of the Marine Board of Investigation, as the formal hearing will address specific details about the incident. Media kits with additional information, including background information on the investigation, a witness list, a schedule, and contact information for follow-ups are available online. When called upon, please state your media affiliation and your name, and then ask your questions. I will call upon reporters in turn. And with that, I would like to introduce to you Titan Marine Board of Investigation Chair, Mr. Jason Neubauer, and Lieutenant Commander Tom Whalen, the lead investigator.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am Jason Neubauer, Chair of the U.S. Coast Guard's Marine Board investigation into the loss of the Titan Submersible. Today marks an important milestone in our ongoing efforts to understand and learn from the events leading up to this incident and the loss of the implosion of the Titan and the loss of the 5 lives. Over the past 15 months, our team is working continuously in close coordination with multiple federal agencies, international partners, and industry experts to uncover the facts surrounding this incident. This tragedy has deeply affected not only the families and friends of those lost, but also the global maritime community and everyone involved in this investigation. The entire Marine Board extends our heartfelt sympathies to the families and friends of those lost. We recognize the immense pain and enduring grief this tragedy has caused. And we've been driven by a shared resolve to honor their memory by conducting a thorough and impactful investigation. The board's upcoming hearings will allow us to present our findings and hear directly from key witnesses and subject matter experts in a transparent forum. These proceedings are not just a formality. They are a critical step in our mission to understand the contributing factors that led to the incident, and even more importantly, the actions needed to prevent a similar occurrence. The board is absolutely committed to identifying the safety gaps and recommending improvements so that no family will have to endure such a loss again. Today's press conference is an opportunity to discuss the procedural aspects of the hearing and what happened and what to expect over the coming days. We are open to questions specifically related to the processes and priorities of the board investigation. However, we ask you to hold off on questions related to specific evidence or findings, as they'll be covered in detail over the proceedings. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. I will now open the floor to any questions.
Web Wright with ABC News 4. I just, for people out there that might not understand the purpose of this hearing, can you talk about that as far as, do you find any criminality? What is the purpose of your, you have findings. Do you recommend things like criminality if there's negligence?
The purpose of this administrative hearing is to uncover the facts surrounding the incident. You are charged to also detect misconduct, negligence by credential errors, and if there's any detection of a criminal act, we would make a recommendation to the Department of Justice. But the main focus of the hearing is to find the facts and make recommendations to make sure it's not happening.
Caroline Spikes with Live 5 News. I guess what we're really wondering is, why are we holding this hearing here in Charleston? Is there some sort of connection here?
Charleston is a neutral location. We have witnesses coming from around the world, and it's also a city that's been closely connected to the Coast Guard. So we have a Coast Guard presence here, and it turned into a location that will proceedings.
Victoria Hanson with South Carolina Public Radio and NPR. You guys will have 2 weeks of hearings to look into this, and then you'll put together a report. How soon will that report come out and be made available? And then there is finding that it's harder action along with the benefits.
Yes, the hearing is the first step in publicly showing the proceedings. We may hold additional proceedings. There could be additional witnesses interviewed. So I would say it's hard to give a projection on the end date for the investigation. However, when the final hearings are held, the National Transportation Safety Board and U.S. Coast Guard are split off and conduct independent analysis and finish the reports.
And just to follow us, what is found this time in these 2 weeks that will be made public right away, that will go into a continuation of hearings and investigations?
Yes, the proceedings from this hearing will be publicly available, including the transcripts and the exhibits you used. However, the analysis and the findings, conclusions will not be available until the
You mentioned witnesses coming in from around the world. How did y'all choose those with that witness list? And will they be held accountable if they don't show up?
The witnesses, I'm confident the witnesses we have identified will provide the facts and circumstances and background that we need to complete the investigation. And that's how they were chosen. If we find that we need additional information from additional witnesses, we can definitely call it to another hearing session. That's not uncommon for complex cases, or we do individual interviews.
Sir, you said this is complex. Why is this complex, and how complex is this?
This is one of the most complex investigations that I've ever been involved with, and it stems from the offshore nature of the incident, the depth at which it occurred. That created many challenges for recovering evidence, from a death, and then maintaining it to a state that it can be forensically tested, and then sharing and cooperating with the multiple jurisdictions that have jurisdiction over the investigation itself.
When was the last time the Coast Guard had a hearing like this?
The Coast Guard does averages about 1 board investigation hearing annually. This the commandant level reward is the highest, and out of thousands of investigations conducted, less than one rise to this level. We recently had some district formal investigations for fires and small passenger vessels, but the last reward has been us a while. And I can get back to you on the exact date of the last reward.
What rate, does the fact that several people passed away, does that raise this to a more intense level of investigation other than simply like a fire on a ship?
Certainly when there are passenger fatalities in any incident or crew member fatalities, that does raise the level of the investigation, the scope. And like, for example, in this case, we are going all the way back for the entire operations function. And we're looking at the entire safety framework that's in place to oversee these types of operations. And I think you see that level of depth when there's loss of life.
One last question, I'm sorry. What are the possible outcomes of these hearings? You know, do we see fines or see criminal charges? What are we seeing?
Yeah, the purpose of this hearing is really to make the necessary safety recommendations. And those safety recommendations can go domestically to the Coast Guard that oversees, federal regulations for these types of operations. But more importantly, we can also go local to the International Maritime Organization that oversees the operations on the high seas and in foreign countries. So I think that's another possible outcome of this hearing, international standards, or recommendations towards those standards.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all for attending today. We appreciate your cooperation and your commitment to this important investigation. I'll be available after the press conference to answer any of your questions for access to the hearing tomorrow or any questions you have about. Thank you.